This video will be solely about how to replace a capacitor, how to read the labels, how to check them, what a capacitor is, what's the difference between a run capacitor and a dual run capacitor, and then how to replace it live, on the AC condenser unit outside and on the furnace inside. So basically, if you watch this whole entire video, you're going to learn a whole lot about capacitors. Here's the run capacitor, and here's a dual run capacitor. And if you're wondering what's the difference, this capacitor is basically a combination of two run capacitors, so exactly like it sounds like a dual run capacitor. See how it's labeled right here, these terminals, the different sections on them? One says Herm, which stands for hermetic compressor. So this terminal right here, all these terminals will be for the compressor. This one says fan, this one will be for the fan, and C stands for common or for neutral. And this capacitor right here that I got is for my blower motor, which is inside the furnace. So even though nothing is labeled on here, this one is pretty much a C and a fan. Whereas this one has the common, and then it has two different sections, one for the Herm and one for the fan. And while we have a close-up of this capacitor, we'll go over the wiring a little bit later, but notice how there's different amounts of prongs on each of these sections. And just for reference, if you notice, all these prongs or terminals are all connected to each other. So when you're hooking up a wire, it doesn't matter which of the four prongs you would hook it up to, as long as you have it in the right section. Not all of the dual run capacitors will be like this, but a lot of them are. Common, a lot of times will have 4 of these terminals or prongs. Herm will have 3, and fan will have 1. So of course it's still a good idea to write down, label, or take a picture of the wires before you take them off. But if you did take them off without writing anything down, this is a good way to know where the wires go. And I just want to point out that capacitors are pretty cheap parts. They're not made to last forever, and they do fail quite frequently. And they also do not take hot weather very well either. So if you have a stretch of like 3 days of really hot weather, or like a week, or even worse, like 2 weeks of really hot weather, there's a good chance that your capacitor might fail. Which is why it's a good idea to have a spare capacitor on hand, so when the hottest day of the year hits and your air conditioner stops working, you'll have one of these to be able to put in and get yourself up and running real quick. And another reason why that's a good idea is because a lot of the HVAC suppliers, HVAC parts suppliers, they won't sell to homeowners, they only sell to contractors. So it might be hard to track down a dual run capacitor locally for your air conditioner if it goes out. This capacitor right here I got on Amazon. I think it was like 15 bucks, and this is just a spare that I have, just in case mine dies on me when it's like 100 degrees outside. Okay, so let's move on and see how to replace a capacitor in an air conditioner outside. So the very first thing you want to do is, of course, turn off the power. Your disconnect will many times be right by your air conditioner outside on the wall of the house. If you open up the cover, sometimes you have to slide it down and open it, and if it's been painted over, it can be kind of hard to do. You might have to knock on the pins to kind of get the door to go down and open. But anyways, once you get the door open, most disconnects will be this plug style with a handle that you can pull out. And it's called a disconnect because it disconnects the 240 volts or disrupts it from going through. So 240 volts is going from your electrical circuit panel into here and then into your air conditioner. Once you pull that thing out, that disrupts the power, or you can also just turn off your circuit breaker inside the house to make sure the power is off. And to be extra safe, you can pull the disconnect and turn the power off. And just so you know, sometimes instead of a plug, it'll be like a switch or even a breaker here. So just turn that off, and if you have a meter or a voltage pen, make sure you double check that there's no power before you start touching wires. And you could also turn your thermostat to the off position so the contactor doesn't get 24 volts either. So now you got the power disconnected. If you follow the whip where the wires go, my wires go right in here. That is where all your electrical stuff is going to be. So in my case, it'll be either right here or behind this panel. So I know that mine is right here, so I need to take this door off and I'll be able to get to the electrical components inside. Usually the doors or the panels will be held in by 1/4 inch bolts or 5/16. Mine are 5/16. My meter can act as a voltage pen. And I have confirmed I don't have any power. So now I know I won't get zapped, and of course that's a good thing. So here's my capacitor right here. My dual run capacitor. As you can see, the new one looks a whole lot different than the old one, and that will happen a lot. The newer one will probably be skinnier than the old one, which happened to me right now. What matters is the rating of your capacitor. So mine is a little bit weird. It's a 35 microfarad by 4. It'll either be MFD or UF. That's the symbol for microfarads, and that's how capacitors are rated. And most of the time it'll actually be like a 35 by 5 or a 40 by 5. It's pretty rare that you see a 4 or a 3 microfarad. So the larger number will be for the compressor, for the Herm, and the smaller number will be for the fan. And that's the biggest part that you need to pay attention to when you're replacing a capacitor. Just make sure that the new capacitor's microfarad rating matches up with the old one that you're replacing. And then on the bottom, right below that, it says plus or minus 6%. And the percentage just stands for how far out of range this capacitor can be and still function normally. So pretty much it would be 35 microfarads plus or minus 6%, or the 4 microfarad plus or minus 6%. And right here we have the voltage. This one's 370 volts. Now, if your old capacitor is 440, it is generally not recommended to go down to 370. But if you have a 370, then it's okay to actually put in a 440, which is a step up from the 370. But regardless of which one you put in, both of them will work just fine, the 370 and the 440. The reason the 440 is just slightly better than the 370 is because it can take a power surge or a power spike a lot better than a 370 can. So for example, if you have a storm outside, or if a power line is downed, or the electric company has some problems at their station, and all of a sudden you get just a spike or a surge of voltage, oftentimes that'll take out the capacitor. But if your capacitor can take a higher voltage, then there's more chances that it'll survive any kind of power surges. So that's how you read the label on your capacitor. The most important thing, like I said previously, is the microfarad rating, and the secondary thing is the voltage. But if you're really picky about your capacitor and you want your new one to be the same exact size as your old one, then you can just go by the part number off of the old capacitor to order the new one, and that way you're going to get the same size capacitor as your old one. But regardless of its size, if the microfarad rating is the same, it really doesn't matter. So let's go ahead and take out my old capacitor, which is held in just by one 5/16 screw by this metal strap right here. And I can just loosen it, I don't have to take it out all the way. And slide that out. And here's my capacitor. So this one, as you can see as well, has the same labels, the fan, the C, and the Herm. And you can either take a picture of this, label them, and then take all the wires off and put them on the new capacitor. Or what I like to do is to just take them side by side and take off one wire at a time and put it onto the new one. But before you touch any of the wires, one important thing you gotta do is make sure you discharge the capacitor. The capacitor actually stores a charge, so if you touch the prongs, it probably won't kill you, but it will hurt if you use your fingers to accidentally discharge the stored charge inside of this capacitor. So it's best to just short it out with some pliers or a screwdriver of some sort, or a nut driver. So just go from common to Herm, short it out like that, and then from common to fan, and short it out there as well. And now you can actually touch the wires with your fingers and you're not going to get a shock. So let's take off the fan and right away put it on the new one. Next we can take off all the Herm wires. And go ahead and transfer them over to the Herm on the new capacitor as well. And while you are replacing these wires, I would take a look at these connectors. Sometimes they're really brittle and falling apart. If there's a bad connection, then chances are down the road, this will stop making a good connection to your capacitor and your air conditioner will stop working. So if you see a really corroded or a broken connector, you can snip the wire off, strip it down, and put a new connector on it to prevent any future problems. And the last one is just the common. Pull both of those wires off as well. And put them on my common. Okay, so we got all the wires in. Now we can just slide that back in place. And of course now we have this problem. But all this is just a metal strap. So even though it's loose, you can just go ahead and take some pliers. This is how I like to do it. You can either tighten up the band and drill a new hole or something, but I like to just take the whole steel strap with some pliers and just squeeze on it like that. And as you can see, it's in there really tight now. So if I just tighten down this screw, this capacitor is definitely not going anywhere. And that is how you replace a capacitor in an air conditioner. This capacitor was actually not bad. I just replaced it just to show you how to replace one. So I'll go ahead and keep this one as a spare now. And next, what I want to do is just show you how to check a capacitor with a meter, if you have a meter. And then I'll also show you how to replace the capacitor, which is inside of the furnace for the blower motor, just really briefly so you know where that is and how to do that as well. So first of all, of course, your meter has to be able to check microfarads. So it'll either say MFD, or this is the symbol for a capacitor right there, capacitance. So I switched my meter over to that. So this capacitor is a 35 by 4. So you go from common to Herm. Common should be the black lead. And since this is Herm, this will be the larger number, which is 35. And as you can see, I have exactly 35 microfarads for the Herm. So let's go ahead and check the fan now. So you put one lead on common and one lead to fan. And what's happening right now is the capacitor is basically getting charged from the meter. You got to give it a couple of seconds to charge up. And my fan right there is also 4 microfarads. So this capacitor is actually right on. There's nothing wrong with this thing at all. But if you don't have a meter, a lot of times when you have a bad capacitor, most of the time the top bulges up. I see that a lot. So if you open up your unit and you see your capacitor kind of bulged out instead of having a flat surface up on top, that guarantees that you have a bad capacitor. And it's pretty rare, but once in a while it'll actually kind of explode and you'll have grease kind of flowing down the side of it too. And now we are inside, and I just want to show you how to replace the capacitor, where to find it and stuff inside of the furnace for the blower motor. So the very first thing you want to do is, of course, make sure that there's no power going to the furnace. I'll just flip the switch off, and I can check with my meter later to make sure that I don't have any power. Or you can just turn the breaker off if you don't have a power switch nearby. Take your furnace doors off. Your blower motor, if you have an upflow furnace, will be on the bottom right here. And on most furnaces, the capacitor will be mounted to the blower housing in the front. If you're unlucky, it'll be mounted in the back. And unfortunately, the only way to get there most of the time is to pull the whole blower wheel housing out in order to access it. But here's the capacitor. There's the bracket holding it. Most of the time, the capacitors for the blower motor are all going to be oval shaped and that size. A lot of them are 5 microfarad. And the bracket and the capacitor are held in place by either a 5/16 or a 1/4 inch bolt. So let's go ahead and take this capacitor out. Take that screw out right there. Slide the capacitor out. And of course, don't touch the metal prongs yet, because you have to discharge it. A small capacitor can bite you as well. So short it out just like you would the capacitor outside. Put the screwdriver between the 2 terminals. And then you can go ahead and pull the 2 wires off. And if the connectors aren't coming off very easy, you can just take a needle nose or a pliers to help them out, or just take a flathead screwdriver, put it in between the connector and that wire terminal, and just kind of snap it out. Mine come off pretty easy, as you can see, so I don't need that. But if you're having troubles taking them off, you can always use a pliers or a flathead screwdriver. My capacitor for the blower motor is a 5 microfarad, plus or minus 5%. And it's either 440 or 370 volts, which means you can either put in a 440 or a 370 to replace it.
So this is the one I pulled out, and here's the new one. And before I go ahead and put in the new one, I'll just check them both side by side with my meter and see what different reads we get. So switch that over to microfarads. We'll start with the old one that I just took out. And once again, this capacitor is not bad. I'm just replacing it just to show you how it's done. And I'll probably keep this one as a spare. Once again, give it a couple of seconds to charge up, and 5.01. So this capacitor is actually really good. It's like spot on, the old one that I took out. Let's see what the new one is measuring. And the new one is very good as well, 5.13. And this one is also plus or minus 5%. So that's within range. Both of them are good. And of course, to replace it is very simple. You would just slide it back into that bracket. As for the two wires that you pulled off, it does not matter which wire goes to which terminal. You can go either this way or this way. Doesn't matter which way they go, because this is just a single capacitor. I'll just plug one in here and one in the other one, and we're good to go. Slide that back in there. Put the screw back in. And that's all there is to it. Now, if this capacitor is really weak or dead, if it's out of range, what will happen is a lot of times the blower motor, it'll just sit there and hum. It won't even spin. Or you can get it to spin just by giving it a kickstart, by giving it a spin with your hand, and then it'll maybe start going. Same with the unit outside. If your capacitor is dead outside, it'll just hum but not start. So if you're seeing your condenser unit humming like that but not starting, there's a good chance that it's the capacitor that's dead. Well, and that is how you replace the capacitor inside and outside.